Scene script. Ever thought of adding chocolate to your prepping items? It might surprise you. Welcome, folks. In the world of prepping, we're always on the lookout for items that not only serve a practical purpose, but also offer a bit of comfort in times of uncertainty. Now, what if I told you that one of these items could be as simple and delightful as chocolate? Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the sweet melt-in-your-mouth goodness that is chocolate. Prepping, as we all know, is the practice of making preparations for potential future emergencies. This could be anything from a natural disaster to a sudden disruption in the supply chain, or even a societal collapse. The goal is to be self-reliant and ready for any situation that might come our way. It's about being proactive rather than reactive, but it's also about maintaining a sense of normalcy and comfort, even in the most challenging situations. That's where chocolate comes into play. Chocolate isn't just a sweet treat that we indulge in after a long day. In fact, it's a powerhouse of energy and nutrition that can be a valuable asset in survival situations. High in calories and packed with sugar and fats, chocolate can provide a quick energy boost when you need it most. Plus, let's not forget the morale boost that comes with enjoying a piece of chocolate when times are tough. It's like a little piece of joy, right there in your survival kit. And before you start picturing a melted mess in your survival stash, let me assure you there are ways to store chocolate so it stays fresh and ready to use. We'll get into that a bit later. So, whether you're a seasoned prepper or just starting out, adding chocolate to your prepping items can bring a touch of sweetness to your survival strategy. It's not just about surviving, it's about thriving. And what better way to do that than with a bit of chocolate? So, if you're ready to sweeten your survival stash, stick around. You may be wondering, why chocolate? Well, here's why. First off, let's talk about longevity. Chocolate, especially the dark kind, has a rather impressive shelf life, making it a perfect addition to your prepping pantry. Stored correctly, a bar of dark chocolate can last up to 2 years. Now that's what I call a sweet deal. Not only does chocolate last, but it also packs a punch in terms of energy. A standard bar of dark chocolate contains about 600 calories. That's enough to keep you going for a while when resources are scarce. Plus, it's packed with important nutrients like iron and magnesium. So it's not just a treat, it's a survival tool. But perhaps the most important benefit of including chocolate in your prepping items is its morale-boosting properties. In tough times, a little taste of something sweet and familiar can mean the world. It's a small comfort that can lift spirits and keep hope alive. And hope, my friends, is one of the most vital things to have in a survival situation. So there you have it, longevity, energy, and a morale boost all wrapped up in one tasty package. Chocolate isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity when it comes to prepping. Now, who wouldn't want a piece of that in a survival situation? Not all chocolates are created equal, especially when it comes to prepping. Now let's dive into the world of chocolate. There are mainly 3 types of chocolate: milk, dark, and white. Each one of them has unique characteristics, but not all of them are suitable for prepping. Let's start with milk chocolate. It's the sweetest of the 3, made with milk powder or condensed milk. While it's a crowd favorite for its creamy, sweet, and less bitter taste, it's not the best choice for prepping. Why? Because of its high dairy content, which shortens its shelf life. Next up is white chocolate. Now, some might argue that it's not technically chocolate as it doesn't contain any cocoa solids, only cocoa butter. It's rich, creamy, and even sweeter than milk chocolate. But just like milk chocolate, its high dairy and sugar content make it less suitable for long-term storage. Now let's talk about the star of the show, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is made with a higher percentage of cocoa solids and less milk. This gives it a rich, intense, and slightly bitter flavor. But what makes dark chocolate the champion for prepping? Firstly, it has the longest shelf life of all 3. This is because it has less dairy and sugar, which reduces the chance of it spoiling. Secondly, it's packed with nutrients. Dark chocolate is a great source of antioxidants, fiber, iron, magnesium, copper, and manganese. It also contains a decent amount of soluble fiber and a little bit of protein. But remember, not all dark chocolates are the same. For prepping, you want to choose a bar that's at least 70% cocoa. The higher the cocoa content, the less sugar and the more beneficial nutrients it contains. So when you're adding chocolate to your prepping items, go for dark chocolate. It's not only delicious, but also nutritious and long-lasting. Remember, the darker the better. Got your chocolate? Great. Now let's talk storage. Storing chocolate might seem as simple as tossing it into a cupboard, but if you want to keep it fresh and tasty for long-term use, there are a few key points to keep in mind. The first rule of thumb is to store your chocolate in a cool, dry place. Heat and moisture can cause your chocolate to bloom, a process where the sugar or fat rises to the surface, creating a white, powdery appearance. This doesn't make the chocolate unsafe to eat, but it can impact the texture and flavor. So, what's the ideal temperature? Well, it's somewhere between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. An environment too hot will cause the chocolate to melt, and too cold could lead to moisture condensation that could spoil your treat. Your pantry or a dedicated storage area in your basement could be perfect places. Next up, let's talk about containment. Airtight containers are an excellent choice for storing chocolate. They not only protect your chocolate from dust and pests, but also prevent it from absorbing the flavors of other foods stored nearby. Remember, chocolate is a bit of a chameleon. It can pick up strong odors from its surroundings, altering its original flavor. So keep it away from your onions and garlic. And if you're thinking about freezing or refrigerating your chocolate for extended storage, think again. While it's true that lower temperatures can prolong the shelf life, the fluctuation in temperatures from taking it in and out can cause that dreaded bloom we talked about earlier. So, unless you're in a very hot climate with no other options, it's best to avoid the fridge and freezer. Lastly, keep your chocolate in its original packaging until you're ready to use it. This will provide an extra layer of protection and keep your chocolate in the best possible condition. With proper storage, your chocolate can stay fresh and tasty for years. So, whether you're a prepper stashing away for uncertain times, or just a chocolate lover wanting to extend the life of your favorite treat, these storage tips will ensure you always have delicious, high-quality chocolate at your fingertips. Now that you've got your chocolate stored, what can you do with it in a survival situation? Well, let's paint a picture here. Imagine you're in a scenario where you've been on the move for hours. Your energy is flagging and you need a quick pick-me-up. That's where chocolate shines. It's a compact source of quick-release energy, thanks to its sugar content. A small piece is often enough to give you that needed boost to keep going, but that's not all. In a survival situation, morale is just as important as physical strength. It's easy to get disheartened when you're in a tight spot, but taking a moment to savor a piece of chocolate can provide a much-needed mental lift. It's a small reminder of normalcy and comfort in the midst of chaos. And here's a twist. Chocolate can also become a valuable commodity in a post-disaster world. You might be surprised how much people would be willing to trade for a taste of this sweet luxury. It could be a way to acquire other essential goods, or maybe even services. So yes, that humble bar of chocolate in your survival kit is more than just a sweet treat. It's a compact energy source, a morale booster, and potentially a valuable bartering item. So you see, chocolate isn't just a treat, it's a survival tool. So, are you ready to add chocolate to your prepping items? Over the course of our discussion, we've explored the sweet side of prepping, specifically the role that chocolate can play. It's more than just a delightful treat. It's a versatile survival tool with a host of benefits. Chocolate is a powerhouse of energy, packed with calories to fuel your body when resources are scarce. It's an excellent morale booster, a small comfort that can make difficult situations a little more bearable. Choosing the right type of chocolate is key, and we've discussed how to find the best options for long-term storage and survival. We've also delved into the best ways to store chocolate to maximize its shelf life, ensuring you'll have this sweet resource when you need it most. And remember, chocolate is not just for eating. It can be used in a variety of survival situations. Remember, when it comes to prepping, a little sweetness can go a long way.